one legendary NFT that could 10x, 40x, 100x, or even 1000x the lowest price sale in a collection is one of the things that makes NFTs super exciting and adds a unique element to NFT flipping compared to trading something like the stock market, options, or crypto in general like Bitcoin. So today I'm going to cover a simple strategy that I use when I feel like gambling on pulling rare trades, but still minimizing my downside risk and retaining and preserving my capital, but still getting excited about the NFTs and the excitement about potentially pulling a rare NFT. But remember, oftentimes it's better to set profits and just continue to compound your wins pre-reveal, especially because the majority of the projects will dump 20 to 50% post-reveal or even more. So this strategy really is a gamble since most NFT traits were going to be common and your likelihood of pulling a rare is, well, rare. So one of the things we're going to cover is an NFT project that I used this strategy for recently. But first, a warning, NFTs are highly risky. This is not meant to be financial or investment advice. Your investment can go to zero. It can be a rug pull. It could be a scam. And it's not easy as people make it out to be. Be cautious, do your research, but there is opportunity inside the space. Do your own research and know that investing in NFTs, flipping NFTs is highly risky. Okay, so let's go to an NFT project that I used this strategy for recently, Caked Apes. You want to get into a project that is hyped, has good social engagement, has numbers, the NFT supply looks like it's going to sell out, and then there's also influencers and whales that are buying into the project. You want to check that secondary sales volume is great, with well over 100 ETH traded before public mint, showing signs of existing demand within the project. With Caked Ape, the artist has been inside the space. The details of the artist I personally think looks dope. With white sale pre-sale numbers great, with the floor price being multipliers above the mint price, where the mint price was originally 0.069. Leading up to the public mint, it was already around 0.25 to 0.3, with a high sales volume where I think it was above 100 ETH at that point. So then at that point, I monitored pending transactions, and then I minted 3 initially in the very beginning. Then I had my ninja alerts on and I was monitoring different wallets. And then I saw that whales and smart NFT traders started to buy a lot more. My heart was racing, and then I scrambled to place another order. I sped up my transaction, aped in, and bought 10 more. So what I did after that was I continued to monitor secondary sales on OpenSea and through NFTnerds.ai just to keep track of the listings and the sales to see where it would start slowing down, where the listings outpace the potential sales. So then I would just look on OpenSea and just monitor it through here, and then I would go on NFTnerds.ai. You just see NFTnerds.ai. Cake Apes began to fly. So what I did at that point was I slowly laddered up my sales to cover my initial sales and investment costs, where I covered my initial investment costs with a little bit of profit on top. So what you want to do is you want to calculate how many sales it would take to break even and then follow the sales. I like to sell a few in the very beginning of the hype, sell into the hype, and then look to assess when sales hits resistance. This is a price where everybody is listing and then nobody is listing higher than that, and no buyers are buying higher than that. So there's a resistance there, and that's usually what sets this price and sets a trend. From trading other assets, I will see where this resistance is, and then usually what happens, it hits the resistance, it's either going to break through and somebody's going to buy, and then it's going to scramble up and buyers and sellers are going to start moving upwards, or it's going to hit there, try to break, plateau, and then usually come back down. Once it hits this dip, I'm going to look at this dip and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do from here. What happens from these dips, oftentimes it's going to either bounce up and there's going to be trending momentum upwards. So I want to sell into that trending momentum. Other times what happens as well is that it dips lower. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be assessing the demand, the hype of the project, the sentiment on Twitter within the different alpha groups I'm in to see if is this going to continue to go downwards. Do I need to de-risk and sell more of my NFTs? Do I think there's going to be this is just short term and the momentum is gonna find support where buyers are just gonna keep buying at this support level, and anything that dips below that gets bought up automatically, and it just continues to stay at this level. So from here it goes back up, and I'm gonna start selling into my different price levels to get my initial investment back. Usually, but not always, this bounce will happen because there's still FOMO and hype in the project, especially it's overhyped. The socials are good, people weren't able to mint, maybe it was a gas war, and then people just didn't get their NFTs. So a lot of people go to secondary to get and pick up these NFTs. What happens here is at this point, once I recover my initial cost, I will decide, do I want to get the guaranteed ETH and the guaranteed profit? You see what's already selling high on secondary where there's a demand, and then you just take the profit as it's there. But there's also a rarity play. This is what makes NFTs exciting, is being able to have the chance to gamble, to degen and get a rarer trait, maybe even pull a legendary, maybe pull something within the top 100, top 10. I've been fortunate enough to pull rank 1s twice, and it's an amazing feeling. One for a hype project, one for a not so hype project. From there, once I recoup my initial cost, that's when I'll decide, do I want to reveal these NFTs? Do I think they're hype? Do I think the artwork has potential where this may retain the floor? Often what happens post reveal is that everything tanks. It's just 20%, 50%, and then possibly, depending on the project, it can recover. Most of the time it doesn't recover. So that's why I like getting in and locking in those profits, because it's guaranteed profits. Holding for reveal to potentially get a rare is usually just a gamble, but it's exciting. And sometimes when I recoup my cost and just get a little bit of profit, I do that just for fun, to be honest. That's the basic strategy. You just want to look for a hype project, try to get whitelist or try to get in at public, that the mint price, that secondary sales, it's already significantly above mint price, and that there's demand and there's a lot of people already buying and trading this. From there, you want to be able to mint enough to be able to recoup your cost and your initial investment, and then decide what your levels are and how much you want to sell. You can keep the rest to reveal post mint. And that's what I did with Caked Apes, because Caked Apes is an ape derivative. Ape derivatives usually do well because of Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and because that sets the precedent. Now people create all of these different versions of their own take on apes. And then because of that, they tend to do well, especially inside a bull market like we've seen. I took a gamble on it being an ape derivative, it also being a bull market, and that it could possibly retain floor value or not tank that much. And even if it tanked up to 50%, I would still be in a significant profit. So I said, might as well just have a little bit of fun and reveal these NFTs after I de-risk my investment, and still will come out in profit. That's basically all you want to do, is just sell enough to cover your initial investment, and then whatever else you want to reveal, just hold into reveal. Just pray and hope that you get a rare, and if you don't, at least you'll be able to sell it at floor and still make a decent profit. This is one of the rare projects. It's probably because we're also in a bull run where post reveal there was a pump from where we were earlier, where it peaked at 0.35. Now it peaked at 0.45 to even 0.5. We're starting to see a decline in sales, but it's still holding around 0.35, and then it's still fluctuating between 0.33 looks like the real floor, 0.35. It also depends on the rarity of these, but it's still going. And this was one of the rare times where I did all the different traits I went over earlier, netted me more than I would have made if I sold early. It's also because of the high volume. This is a lot of volume traded. There's a lot of people looking at this project, influencers, people follow the artist, different groups, and the art is good. The details on the art compared to all of these other projects, all of these other like cash grabs, is pretty good. There's details in a lot of the little intricacies, the shadowing, the different layers, and I'm glad I gambled to be able to reveal these NFTs because it's exciting. So it worked out in my favor this time. It's not always gonna work out, so I was able to sell a few, and then I have a few rarer traits that I'm gonna try to sell for higher, and then if not, I'm just gonna exit, and I still made more money than I would have if I just sold pre-reveal. That doesn't always happen, so just keep that in mind. Today is a win, and I'm just gonna keep rolling these into the next project and the next project, and just try to keep being consistent. Always minimize your downside risk and roll your profits forward. Leave a comment below on any projects that you're excited about that are coming. And if you have any questions, as always, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you in the next video.